Hey, 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 I brought the potato salad. Hey, 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 I brought the mac and cheese. What did you bring? I brought the war. Yeah. Again, terrible intros, but I'm doing my best. What's up, everyone? It's your boy, Matt Diazable, coming at you with a new music review. Thank you for coming on by. I appreciate it. Today, I am checking out the latest album from a band called Warbringer with their latest album called Wrath and Ruin. If you are unfamiliar with the thrash metal world, Warbringer is a California thrash metal band that's been around since about 2004. And from what I've done some research on, I recently just discovered this band, but from what people have said and online reviews and bios about the band, they're taking that old 80s style thrash metal and bringing a more darker, heavier edge to it, which I gotta say, is a pretty good summarization of what this band is. And like I said, this is my first time ever really listening to this band. I just discovered this band this year. So they've been around for 20 years and I've never heard of them until this year when I was looking for new bands to check out and saw that on Lambgoat had reviewed their album. I was like, I don't know this band. Perfect band to review. So that's how we're here. And yeah, so let's check it out. And with being around for 20 years, I guess I can confidently say that Warbringer have been, the torchbearers of modern thrash metal. And I gotta say, with this latest album, Wrath and Ruin, it feels like, they're sharpening their attack while expanding their overall sonic range. I gotta give it up to the guys. This album is quite relentless because it feels like it digs deeper into heavier, doomier, and more atmospheric territories, possibly throughout their whole, catalog of music, which I still haven't fully checked out. But this is a very atmospheric album. And by that atmosphere, they really set a tone with it being a very cinematic feel to it. And I think a prime example of that is on the song The Sword and the Cross, the opening track to this album. Literally, the song starts off with like a sword being pulled out from its sheath, and then you get some slow, chugging, doom-like riffs. The buildup is quite deliberate, and then they bring in some bass that has a really fuzzy and dense feel to it. And the vocals, they just tear through with like a hardcore style of ferocity. Like, he would be a good hardcore singer. And so that blend of classic thrash metal energy with hardcore style vocals really gives Warbringer a very unique and distinctive style. And then you pair it with some riffs that are just dripping with groove and solos that just have a really good bite to them. Makes for a very engaging and fun song because despite it being 6 minutes long, the track just flies by with how engaging everything is, from the vocals to the riffs and just all the twists and turns that are packed into this one song. That same energy explodes on the track A Better World, where the band kind of leans more into speed and precision like playing. The riffs have this like commanding, almost razor sharp quality to them that reminds me of the Black Dahlia Murder. But instead of going down the route of like death metal, it kind of goes more into the thrash metal style, which kind of makes me think like Black Dahlia Murder is death metal meets hardcore. I guess Warbringer's hardcore meeting thrash metal. It's a fast, muscular, and just undeniably metal song that kind of gives the energy that it's like a good song to open up at in their opening set. But this album, Wrath and Ruin, is not all about speed. The song Necromancer kind of slows things down a little bit with a heavier and more groovy, menacing feel to it, anchored down by some really thick bass lines and riffs that just really stomp as much as they vibe. It's a very calculated track that balances out flashiness with weight. And while I would say the ending doesn't really, quite land as well and as hard as I want it to, it's still a good song showing that the band can go beyond just thrashy, fast playing. Like the song Through a Glass Darkly, it introduces some acoustic guitars and a slow, almost obituary-like crawl to it. It's a song drenched in atmosphere, but also still very crushing in tone. Similar, there's a song called Cage of Air, where it opens up with some eerie samples and almost goth-like sense of uneasiness before crashing down with some of the heaviest riffs on the record. And the song pairs very well with like suffocating atmosphere with biting lyrics about freedom and confinement. And these tracks really show that Warbringer is able to invoke other things that are not just aggression. You know, they're able to bring weight, mood, and a sense of cathartic feeling with their tracks. But on the flip side, on songs like The Jackhammer and Strike from the Sky, prove that, you know, when Warbringer want to be more lean, mean, and just straight to the point, gotta say, they're kind of untouchable. Strike from the Sky feels like, you know, a very modern crossover anthem that, you know, if you're into thrash metal, you're gonna love this song. It's like taking Iron Maiden's melodic flair and, you know, colliding it with hardcore energy, complete with very smooth drum rolls, slick two-step grooves, and sharp solos. It makes a very exciting track to listen to. And then the closing song here, The Last of My Kind, kind of deceives you a little bit by having some pianos open up before it kicks into some very galloping thrash metal riffs. And it's a nice farewell statement to this album that really wraps up the album's overall balance between atmosphere and aggression, reminding you that Warbringer's strength is when the band just really locks in. They sound like a complete and unstoppable unit. And I think what makes this album stick out is not that it's just, you know, has a deep and fast ferocity to it. It has a lot of variety to it. It's not just it's got A, B, C, apples and oranges. It's got a lot here going on. Warbringer is able to show that, you know, they have songs that have some really good bite to them, like The Jackhammer, or, you know, slower songs that really just don't lose their heaviness, like on Through a Glass Darkly, or drenching a song in atmosphere like Cage of Air, while still keeping that, you know, thrash, you know, ethos they have here alive and well. Since I haven't listened to their other albums, but from what I can tell, I feel like this might be their most punishing and most versatile album yet. I feel like this album shows that, you know, the band is at their tightest, their heaviest, and their most adventurous at this point in their career. It's definitely a must listen to all fans of thrash metal, but also it shows Warbringer isn't just, you know, some band that's trying to revive a genre. I can confidently say that they're writing, you know, music, thrash metal songs that, you know, can stand alongside the influences that clearly influence this band. They're not like, oh, we came after it. They're almost on the same level now. They're almost peers, I would say. So this latest album from Warbringer, Wrath and Ruin, I would have to give it a nice and decent 8.5 out of 10. Links down below. Tell me your favorite thrash song, your favorite thrash bands, some thrash bands I should check out. And until next time, guys, see you in the pit.